Hey everyone, we are back, y'all, and we are back with a prepper haul. We've got a lot of information to give you today on a lot of things that we are dropping and no longer going to do in our prepper stash. That includes our freezers and also our prep pantry, as well as some other things that I want to talk to you about when it comes to our frozen foods and convenient foods. So here's what we got here for today, y'all. We had a 25-pound bag of sugar. I know a lot of people like the pure cane sugar. I'm going to be real honest. I like the granulated sugar. And we've had sugar in our stockpile for over 3 years in food safe 5-gallon buckets. And we have never had a problem with anything going wrong with the granulated sugar. So we are completely out of sugar, y'all. I hadn't had sugar in so long. And so therefore we are going to start filling our food grade buckets back up for sugar. I want to keep at least a minimum of 100 pounds of sugar in stock at all times. So we've got some work to do to refill that buckets. Many of those buckets, I should say. That's usually a little over 3 buckets that I have to put away, closer to almost 4. But with that being said, we did take 10 pounds of sugar out of here that needed to be upstairs. This other 15 pounds is going to start the first bucket on refilling our sugar. So you're going to start seeing a lot more sugar come in because we've got a refill and we are starting to bake a lot. Down here, I have a pack of green lentils. This is something we're going to start adding on board. And with that being said, I am going to start stretching the kids' meat items out for their ground beef and things of that nature with adding lentils in. Using less ground beef, using a little bit more lentils. I'm probably going to do a 50-50 ratio. I'm going to start it out with a small amount and then increase it over time for the kids so I can get them used to green lentils. I love green lentils, but my kids eat ground beef, and I kind of want to stretch out the ground beef because ground beef, as we all know, is not cheap. So lentils is something we're bringing on board in our prep pantry. Another thing we're going to bring more heavily on board. Now, I've had pinto beans before, and I do have pinto beans in stock, but I've never had a very big amount of pinto beans, and I want to get at least 75 pounds of pinto beans in stock to start us out with. Yes, that is going to go in food grade safe buckets. And we're starting out with an 8-pound bag. The reason for this is we love convenient food, y'all. I am not going to lie. I'm not going to make any excuses or anything of that nature or justify it. However, the convenient of convenient foods is not a convenient price. And with that being said, we're going to start making our own refried beans as well. And that's something that you'll see here in a minute. You'll understand why I do have a bread product. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But we're going to make our own bean and cheese burritos. We're no longer going to buy them in the store. We're no longer going to buy the cans of refried beans, except for a few cans I'll have in stock. I'll probably have a good 3 to 4 cans only. And the reason is I am switching over more to dry beans and trying to rely less on canned beans. Now, canned beans are great if you need to have them in a pinch. We have an Instapot. I don't have an excuse not to be able to just throw some beans in there, put them on high pressure for 45 minutes with some onion and garlic and some spices, because 45 minutes while it's sitting in an Instapot, I can be doing other things and it's quick. And I can make these ahead of time. You can freeze these as well. And that's what we'll be doing. So 8 pounds is going to start out our first bucket of pinto beans. Over here, we have some parchment paper. That's because we are starting to bake more than we are starting to buy when it comes to convenient foods. That includes a lot of our bread products. Not all. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But a lot of our bread products. Back here, we do have some cornstarch. We are out of cornstarch completely, so I need to start restocking cornstarch. Back here, I do have some bread flour now that we are making homemade breads, homemade tortillas, homemade dinner rolls, homemade buttermilk biscuits, things of that nature. We need bread flour. So we're going to start bringing bread flour on board now, and we're going to start buying less convenient breads at the store and start making it from scratch where it's cheaper. So we need to bring bread flour on board. Now, I just said we're going to be doing a whole bunch of our own bread products. So I do have 2 packages of tortillas right here. The reason for that, y'all, is it is just a busy week, and sometimes when it is busy, convenient foods are okay, but overall, in general sense, I want to get to a schedule where I don't have to buy these at all. I do have a tortilla press. I have an 8-inch tortilla press. I'm going to look into getting a 6-inch, a 10-inch, and I think there's a 4-inch as well. So I'm going to be making our own bean and cheese burritos and our own spicy burritos as well. And y'all, that's where pinto beans come in at. You make your own pinto beans. You make your own homemade burritos. You flash freeze them overnight on a silicone baking mat, which is on top of a cookie sheet. You make your burritos, you put them on there, you flash freeze them for about 6 to 8 hours, and then you can put them in Ziploc bags, y'all. Don't be buying those burritos at the store. I am in shock on the cost of those burritos. Now, these are not the burrito size tortillas. These are just smaller size, like snack size. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be making the burrito size tortillas because I need to get, I believe it's a 10-inch tortilla press. An 8-inch that I have will actually work for us. I don't actually have to go out and buy a 10-inch, but in the future reference, I do have that in my wish list. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to be making homemade breakfast burritos versus actually buying those at the store as well, because it's just insane what the prices are on frozen foods right now, especially breakfast foods. Down here, we've got another pack of chocolate chips. This is going in our prep pantry. Now, I am going to have to pull the other one out of the freezer. This goes into our freezers. We keep chocolate chips in the freezer to keep them fresh, keep them lasting longer, and making sure that they don't melt. So the bag that I have downstairs is going to have to come up. This one's going to go in, but I would like to get a stash of about 4 to 6 bags of chocolate chips. Now, again, that's 4 up to 6 bags, not 46 bags, just so I make that correct. We are no longer buying cookies in the store. We're making our own homemade chocolate chip cookies, our own homemade peanut butter cookies, sugar cookies, even oatmeal raisin cookies, things of that nature. So cookies is not something you're going to see us buy anymore. And we don't really buy cookies that often. We actually do prefer the homemade cookies. But the only ones I think we're going to be buying, if we buy them in the future, it'll be rare. But it's things like Oreo cookies. But we always get the knockoff brand anyways. Mashed potatoes on the nights that I don't want to actually peel, cut, dice, boil, and make homemade mashed potatoes. We have just ran out of our instant mashed potatoes not too long ago. We have not had to buy them for nearly 3 years. So we are stocking up again. I will be getting a couple of Food Safe gallon buckets filled with instant potatoes. That saved us over the last couple of years. Instant white rice. We don't buy this as often, but I'm putting another one of these in my prep stash only on nights that I don't want to use the Instapot. Y'all, I don't have an excuse. An Instapot, 12 minutes for rice, and it's good to go. But if the electric goes out and I need to be able to make rice and I don't want to use my Instapot, then I can use this kind of rice and make it really quick. Whether it's outside on the barbecue, I can just throw a pot out there, light up the barbecue pit, and throw rice on it. Or, you know, if you guys got a solar generator, use the Instapot real quick. Makes it super, super fast. I've never used instant rice in an Instapot, but I would guarantee you it probably wouldn't be more than a minute or so, or things of that nature. So just keep in mind, some convenient food is fine if you need to have it for outages and purposes of that nature. Back here, I've never showed this to y'all, I don't think, and I did not purchase this time around, but I just wanted to bring it on board. This is some whole wheat flour. I'm going to start trying to use that. My kids do not like whole wheat. I don't particularly care too much for it. It's a healthier option, so I'm going to try to incorporate it in my diet per se. I will try to see if my kids can, you know, tolerate it. If not, then, you know, it's just solely for me. So back to the tortillas. I do plan to make homemade tortillas. I have plans to continue making homemade bread. I'm not going to buy the frozen loaves of bread in the Walmart section, the 5 count, where you just buy it, you thaw it out, and then you make your own bread that way. I'm going to make our own bread loaves and then freeze them myself. Our own buttermilk biscuits, our own yeast rolls, things of that nature. Things that I will be continuing to buy in the store are things, and oh, by the way, we're going to make our own pizza crust too. But anyways, the items that I will be purchasing still in store are things such as hot dog buns, hamburger buns. We're going to make our own version of Texas toast for the oven instead of buying it in the convenience section at Walmart in the frozen section. We're going to go get the French loaves that, yes, they're $1.48 now. They're no longer $1 at Walmart. And we cut those into 12 slices. I used to do that all the time, and then I'd just mix butter and garlic together, put it on top, bake them, pull them out about a minute before they're done, add the cheese on top, put them back under, and go ahead and cook them that way. My kids love that. I stopped doing it. I went back to convenient foods, and those are over $2 a box now, y'all. And they only have 8 in them. When I do the big, huge French loaf, I can get 12 slices now for $1.48. It used to be $1, but now it's $1.48. I've also froze those in advance as well, and then stuck them in the Ziploc bags, and they lasted wonderfully. So things of that nature, English muffins and bagels, I will also still be buying in store. So that's some changes that we've made. I'm also continuing to buy any canned goods that we can get our hands on that are low sodium or no added salt is another change that we are slowly but surely making as well. Just want to let you know what the kids are eating for dinner tonight. We took out some hamburger that was ground beef, 1.5 pounds of ground beef out of our freezer. It was cooked, drained, and frozen, and that's a good way to make up a really quick meal without having to grab a skillet and then go to an Instapot, or in my case, a crock pot here. And I put the ground beef in. We added a can of diced tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, 2 cans of black beans, 2 cans of red kidney beans, some chili seasoning, and y'all, we did use some minced onion because my son does not like fresh onion. There is something wrong with him. So therefore, we have chili going for dinner tonight for the kids. I also have hot dogs and hot dog buns. So if Jessica wants to get herself into the realm of chili dogs, I'm going to go ahead and slice up a fresh onion for Team Onion over here and Team Onion on chili dogs. And I got some nacho cheese I'll be pulling out so they have nacho cheese chili dogs as well. So that is what they're going to have for dinner tonight. That all came from our preps. And another thing that I need to speak about is, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Hang on, I just talked about the chili. I forgot what I was going to say, y'all. Oh, it's been a rough week. All right, if it comes to my mind, I'll put it into the next video. But this is what we have for today. And again, we are going to go back to making things home from scratch, things we've never made before. We are going to make home from scratch. We are just going to pull in all the elements of what we can and make it homemade. Oh, I know what I was going to say, y'all. Walk down the frozen food aisle at your grocery store. Make a list of different items that you want to eat but don't want to buy conveniently, and turn around and start making it home and make it cheaper. I know that scratch cooking takes time. I know that homemade cooking and meal batch cooking takes time, but it's what is more important, your time or your money? And if you can save money at the grocery store and take one day during the weekend, one day during the week when you have a day off, put on your favorite YouTuber, watch them while you cook, and batch cook meals while you're cooking one meal, double that recipe, make a second meal. You've heard a lot of YouTubers on here talking about batch cooking and doing things of that nature. Trust me, in the end, it will save you. The last thing I also wanted to mention is, good news is, my son, who hates mashed potatoes, who's not from this planet because he hates mashed potatoes, I have recently found out we were out of French fries, and I did not want to have to purchase French fries anymore at the store. Our 32-ounce bag of just the generic Walmart brand French fries is now over $3.25. Y'all, it used to be $1.68. I don't know what happened. With that being said, he only likes the fast food version of the French fries, and those are even more expensive. And I don't want to have to pay in the range of $5 to $7 for the fast food fries. So I was peeling and cutting potatoes, and I decided this time, instead of pulling out the air fryer and putting the French fries in it, which is a healthier version, y'all. Yes, I grabbed some oil, some vegetable oil with a little bit of olive oil, and I threw that into my deep fryer, and I just peeled and cut up whole potatoes and made homemade French fries. I added just a small bit of salt on it, and he came over, he tried it, and I am super, super happy to report he loves them. He absolutely loves them. There is no more buying McDonald's French fries through him, which are absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry, McDonald's, but your fries are nasty. And there's no more buying French fries in the frozen food section. We will not be buying hash browns O'Brien in the frozen food section. We are going to use potatoes and do it ourselves. I have a very, very cool chopper that allows me to do small slices and dices. So we use that to do our onions, our peppers, and now potatoes to make our own like little hash brown type potatoes that are not shredded but the little squares. And I'll throw that in with onions and peppers myself now. The only potato product that we will be buying in the store that is not prepared, which is the instant mashed potatoes, is potato tots for the kids And that's pretty much it. I can't think of it. Oh, maybe the hash browns, like the actual hash brown patties like McDonald's has, but they have them at Walmart. I know you can make those homemade, but I'm not going to venture into that anytime soon. Those are the only convenient items we're going to be buying as the potatoes now, is the 20 count hash brown patties, the tater tots, and the instant mashed potatoes. So we're going to save a lot there. We are making our own homemade pizza crust now. So there's no more buying pizza in the store either. We're going to stop doing that. So there's a lot more to come, a lot more things I want to show you, but just getting started. We are changing a lot of things with our prep pantry. I'm going to be super happy, changing a lot more things about our prep freezers now as well. And just trying to do a lot more scratch cooking, and we're going to start doing batch cooking as well. And we're going to continue to eat off our preps, so, and continue to backstock as well. So with that being said, we'll catch you in the next video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. We're going to be buying a bunch more buckets, and we're going to start filling up a lot more dry foods in our buckets ourselves and doing it cheap versus going and buying those commercial buckets, which are crazy expensive and definitely not worth the price. Do it at home yourself. Make all those buckets up yourself. Save a ton of money. And trust me, in the end, you'll be a lot happier. All right, we'll catch you in the next video. Without Limits is out.